Here's something that can infuriate people sometimes on Hondas from about 2000, well, since auto stop start came in. So this is a 2019 Honda Civic. Any of the diesel engine ones, sometimes the auto stop start function won't be as readily available. So what you'd expect is you pull up to a junction even, the stop start function should engage. So if you take your foot off the clutch and you're in neutral, you'll get this little green symbol on the left and the auto stop start in the center. And then that means the car has now stopped and it's not taken over. But once you put your foot in the clutch, you can see it immediately starts up. This one's interesting because this customer actually wasn't getting any start-stop to work on him. So I said, I'd take the car, bring it down and see what's happening. This is the very start of the journey. So it had started doing stop-start immediately from the outset of when I started driving the car. Well, actually that's not entirely accurate. The first about 2 or 3 kilometers when I drove the car, I was getting a battery symbol, which looks like this. So it was saying that the battery wasn't sufficiently charged to allow stop start. So what I did was I turned on the headlights. If you turn on the headlights on the car, the alternator starts charging the battery. So the battery only charges in these cars when the headlights are on and when the brake pedal is depressed, oddly enough. So once I started driving the car with the headlights on, after 2 or 3 kilometers then, the start-stop function became completely available for the rest of the journey. So usually when people have a problem with the stop-start, it's just they're falling between the first and second thresholds, whereby sometimes it's up to a sufficient level to do stop-start and sometimes it's not. So if you want to rule out, we'll say, the most simple thing of just getting it back up to that level, drive with the headlights on for a couple of journeys and see does it does it re-engage or start-stop mode. However, if you do get to a point where you've driven 3-4 times headlights on, decent journeys, really short stop-start journeys are no good. You want to be doing maybe 20-30 kilometer journeys. Once you've done those kind of journeys and it's still not operating, then you might have to put it onto a charge where basically it's a trickle charge to push it back up to a level to get it into that high zone again. But then again, after a while, if your driving conditions don't suit it, it'll fall back out of that threshold again. The third thing then is sometimes people do have weak batteries. These stop-start batteries, I find 3 to 6 years is the rough lifespan. So once you've gone past that level, it may actually need a battery. So a battery test in the garage can confirm whether it needs a battery or not. We did a battery test on this one, and to be fair, the figures look good. And by the way, just because the start-stop isn't working, it's not a bad thing. It's okay. You can still use the car as normal. It just means that it's not up at that threshold to allow stop-start. But you could own the car for the next 2 or 3 years and just your driving conditions aren't getting it up to that level for stop-start. You still use the car, the battery's still doing everything it's meant to do besides hitting the correct threshold for stop-start. So it's not technically a problem. Okay, so there's a second reason then that your stop-start even might not be available, and you might get this symbol popping up. That's basically when you start the car. That means the engine is too cold. The battery management system won't allow the stop-start to engage until the temperature of the engine has increased. If you want to be slightly nerdy on that, it makes a judgment on the temperature of the coolant, and actually it's not just low. So if the coolant is way too hot, it'll disable the stop-start. If the coolant is too cool, it'll also disable the stop-start. The next one's a bit of a tricky and complex one, and it really catches a lot of people out. So sometimes they'll just see the battery warning coming up, and other times then they'll just notice the stop-start not kicking in. They might actually look to see what symbol's on screen. So if you're getting this symbol here, that's to do with your air conditioner. So a couple of things on the air conditioner. Front emitter on, stop-start is now deactivated. If you have the heating on, okay, so on a Honda Civic like this in this case, but it'd be the same on a CR-V or a HR-V. If you're on high, or if you're on low, stop start is deactivated while you're on high or low. I'm saying it's complex for the reason is, okay, there are simple instructions. Have you got that on? Are you on high or low? This is the one that makes it a bit more complex. If the humidity in the car is really high, it'll actually pick that up, and even no matter what temperature you're on, it'll actually deactivate the stop start. And the other one as well is if it judges a big difference between the actual temperature in the car and what you want. So if you want 28 degrees and feels that the car is way cooler inside than that, then it makes an assumption. The battery management system thinks, well, you're going to start using the heater at a high level, so I'm going to deactivate start stop. But again, what I'm saying to you is you don't need to know all the crap in the background. It's more just you'll see the AC symbol, but there's lots of reasons that the AC symbol comes up, and again that inhibits start stop. Completely normal, nothing to worry about, normal standard operational procedure. So you can see there's actually probably more reasons for it not to work than there is for it to work. In most manuals, it'll tell you basically the reasons it doesn't activate. So things like not having your safety belt on, the engine coolant temperature we talked about already. If you're creeping in traffic, it'll stop doing it as well. So from the point of view, if you don't get up to enough speed it actually will stop activating as you move. You might stop once and it'll do it, and then you creep in traffic, it'll stop doing it. Internal temperatures of the vehicle we talked about, battery charge we talked about, even things like if the fan speed on the heater is too high, it won't do it. If you're at a certain altitude, it won't do it. So I guess hopefully the video makes you some bit more, I suppose, up to date on what's happening with the battery management system in the car. So if it's only coming up in grey, what I mean by that is when you look at the car and it's giving you a symbol that comes up in grey. So orange ones in the centre, they're a problem. But if you get messages up in here in the centre in grey, it's just telling you information. It's not saying it's a problem. It's just saying this is information that you need to know. But well, sorry, you don't even need to know. It's useful driver feedback. That's all. Anyway, hopefully you got a better idea. Maybe some things like driving with the headlights on and stuff will give you a better idea, or maybe how you use your air conditioning and stuff will give you a better idea now of how to maybe activate the start-stop function in your Honda. But I've seen, generally, we sell other cars. Some battery management systems allow stop-start way more in other manufacturers. I've seen that. So I don't sign on the Hondas. They allow the start-stop to operate as much as some other manufacturers. So anyway, thanks for watching.